Before we start drawing with the LAP, it is important to understand how to adjust the laser line to match the current environment, light conditions, and the material of the items that we plan to draw. So let's switch to the capture profile mode. And here we can see on the right what the cameras, the upper and the lower black and white camera is capturing. And this white line here, it's the glass pane being reflected. The laser line is reflected from the glass pane and captured by the cameras, which we want to avoid. So first thing we can do is use the crop envelope function by left clicking and dragging on this screen and then releasing the mouse. This creates a crop envelope which limits where the laser line is being recognized, and we do the same for the lower camera. So now we don't have any unwanted reflections, and we can take a pottery fragment and see that it's being captured now, but not optimally. Especially the lower camera is the reflection is too strong. So this can be, for example, due to more reflective material. So here we can use the exposure slider for the lower camera to lower the exposure to a level where the laser line is being optimally recognized as a line. Like this. The upper one seems to be okay. Now you can see the laser line is still, the recognized profile is still a bit wiggly, so what we can do is use the auto smooth slider, increase it slightly to smooth it out. So now we have a nicely captured profile. Another way to reduce this wiggling or jittering is, if we disable auto smooth, to use the reduce noise function, which is averaging the frames, the captured frames, and reduces the jitter slightly. But generally the auto smooth function is better for this. Okay, now let's say that for some reason we have some background noise in the image. It could be from reflected light from a window if the light conditions aren't optimal. I can simulate it here by exposing the glass pane, the reflections on the glass pane, and we get all kinds of artifacts here. And we can use the fragment filter to reduce this. And let me just cut off the sides here. I can also modify the crop envelope here by right-clicking and dragging the mouse. And it's the same here. It's also a way to modify the crop envelope. So this is the fragment filter. Probably not something that you will need to use often, but it's good to know it's there. Okay, let's readjust the grouping here. Another filter is useful if we have a more reflective item, as this glazed bowl here, for example. And you can see we get a lot of false reflections here, which we need to compensate. So first thing here would be to reduce the exposure, because we get way too strong reflection, and use the reflection filter. And you can see we are already getting a much better profile here. So this is the reflection filter. Now, if we are operating in an environment with very high ambient lighting, or let's say we have a light source in the background, or we have a fragment that has a very low reflection of light. Like for example, let me show you the photo mode. Like this fragment has a dark glossy surface. So in such cases we can use the high contrast mode. So comparison, this is the fragment in the regular mode. You see the laser line is being recognized very poorly, and we get very little reflections if I disable the auto smooth filter. There is no reflection in these parts. So let me enable the high contrast filter and adjust the exposure here. Can go pretty high settings. Also, we need to enable the reflection filter since it's reflexive. And in this case, it makes sense to use the sensitivity slider that modifies how the laser line is being recognized. Doesn't make that much sense in the non-high contrast modes, but in high contrast mode it does have a sense. Slightly adjust the exposure here. It's auto smooth. We already are getting better profile reading. In such a case, it's also good to use the helping hand to fixate the fragment in place, since the high contrast mode has a lower refresh rate, so it's harder to just hold the fragment in place by hand. So this is a way to capture specific fragments. For example, it's good for bronzes or metallic objects.